All right, Nick. Head to the bottom of the ninth. Lord, please. I'll do whatever it takes, man. You tell me what I got to do to get this win, and I'll do it. I mean, of all the times I've ever asked one time, this is the time I actually mean it. Nick, been a
This
long
maybe
day,
feels
brother.
like this feels like maybe your most appropriate just one time that you've ever requested.
Dude. Boy, it's been a long day. But I'll tell you what, it's worth it if we can get these last 3 outs without giving up more than one run.
Yeah, I saw a text in the Chatterbox group chat from you at like 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got up at 5:30 this morning. It's just been a long day. Been a long day. It was a good day. Till I got home, couldn't find the remote, just lost my mind. You know, there's times in my life where I just kind of, lose my mind over silly things. Today I couldn't find remotes in my house. I went home, I was trying to decompress. I wanted to watch the Reds on the TV. Went into the living room, no remote. Now I will say, to be fair to me, this is like the 16th time that I've looked for a remote in the living room and haven't been able to find it because guessing children, my guess. But then I go downstairs where, usually I'm good. I'm like, you know what? I'll just go downstairs. I'm not even going to fight the fight tonight. I'm going to go downstairs. And somehow now that remote's lost too. So I just started throwing stuff around like a little baby. Just threw a temper tantrum, really. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I was gone for like 14 hours. I wanted to come home. I just wanted to watch the Reds. And I couldn't turn the television on to save my life. So I just started throwing stuff around. I mean, I'll be honest, chat. I was throwing stuff around. I think I might have broke Fred from Facebook. I don't know. Not good.
Fred.
So I'll just apologize now. But here we go.
I paused at 01.
01, 13, 12,
10.
11, 10.
Bang.
Pitch.
Bang.
Fall inside.
Now you're a little bit ahead, but we'll be okay.
Well, you can go live and then we can try it again.
I'll go. Yeah.
You go live and we'll try it again. 10. We'll try it again on the 1-1. The 1-1 is high. All right. Where are you at?
I'm on 2-1. I'm going to pause it at
2-1, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9,
I'm gonna go down.
8.
Yep, there we go. I got to go like 2 seconds ahead of when
right, because it takes it a second for it to hit play. Yeah.
All right, Alexis.
Oh, man.
This is Henry's brother. I don't know if you had the broadcast on when Chris and John were talking about it.
Yeah, I knew that was Henry's brother. Yep, I did. I've had the broadcast on since probably I think it was the second inning. I was driving home and I was watching and listening. Oh,
boom!
God, these guys are idiots.
Go.
Oh, man. Thank you, Lord. Who is that? Henry Ramos's brother? Thank you, Henry Ramos's brother.
Heliot Ramos?
Yeah. Well, at least Henry got the better name.
He just got called up like 2 days ago.
Henry's, where is he playing at? Chris had him playing in the Korean League, and then he had him in Japan. He had him all over the place. Chris just could have said overseas. It would have worked, but it's fine. Boy, this is typical DS.
I got put a little bonus bet, Trace.
Ooh,
I try to jinx it on the NHL game. One of the most degenerate bets. I bet the game would go to overtime. 3-3, 5 minutes left. It was like plus 350 too.
Hey, Nick, we got 2 outs, just so you know.
I know. Sorry.
It's okay, though. I like your bonus bet. Just haven't won in like 3 weeks. Come on, guys. We need it. Let's just get back on track. We'll act like this whole thing never happened. You know, like a bad marriage. We'll throw it. We'll throw it into the closet, brush it under the rug, and act like it never happened.
When's the last time Diaz even pitched?
10 days ago.
Oh my god! Oh.
These guys didn't get the scouting report at all, did they? I mean, geez, Christmas, dude. You're better off just standing up there and not swinging.
These guys are going through it a little bit too. They have a ton of injuries.
Come on, Alexis. Just one more pitch, brother. Please, Lord, begging you. These glasses, boy, they're tough to see out of. A good pitch. Why didn't you swing at it?
Don't let it go full. Don't let it go full. He did.
Could you imagine someone just randomly turning on a stream, seeing some guy wearing flip glasses at night?
There's a lot of things we do that I wonder, what the hell do people think? No.
This is like, these are nervous.
These
are nervous laughs. Like, it's like, dude,
come on.
I mean,
throw him a changeup at 50 miles an hour. Like, I mean,
see how far he can hit it.
Yeah, like, oh, this is the guy.
Who's this kid?
This is a guy Red selected in the 2022 Rule 5 draft. I actually recorded a podcast about him because I was really excited about their signing, and then they turned around like 20 minutes later and traded him to the Giants for cash.
Bob needed to pay something off. At least he got ahead. Is that out?
No. The Reds did get Jake Wong for him. Jake made one appearance for the Reds. He just got released or traded. He's at the Cubs Double-A team right now.
Please. Just 1-2. Just 1-2. Relax. Yeah. Yes, he did. Wishful thinking. Just throw a strike, man. Only Diaz can do this. To be fair to him, though, he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks. Oh, my God, these guys. Oh, dear baby Jesus. Thank the Lord. Everybody, deep sigh of relief. Take a deep breath. The Reds have done it. The Reds have done it. We got an intro to do. I don't even know where this intro exists anymore. I don't even know where it exists. Does it even go back this far anymore? All right, we got a show. We got a show to do. Thank the Lord.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Done up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the wall, Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Reds win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Oh my God. Boy, I'll tell you what. I just want to say this to start the show. Nick, it's a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. I don't know what to make of it. I just know this feels a little bit better than what we've been through the last week and a half. And I'm not saying we're back yet. Some are saying it. I'm not saying it. But I do know this. I needed this win. There was a chance tonight, Nick. If we didn't get a win, I was just going to pack it up. You know, I'm not a quitter. But boy, I'd have been close tonight. Running on fumes. And on top of that, I couldn't do 9 in a row. So, but it doesn't matter. They found a way to win. Nick, your overall, I guess, assessment here. You feeling good late at night? This is your neck of the woods, by the way. For those that don't know, Nick Kirby, night owl. Dude doesn't, I mean, what time do you usually go to bed anyways, Nick?
Well, it's all over the place. Shout out to Betty. This is her first Reds win. Last Reds win I saw was in the hospital waiting for Betty to arrive. Nick Lodolo pitched to Jim. Betty came and the Reds lost 8 in a row. So I was getting nervous. I was like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do with this kind of information? So shout out to Betty. But because of Betty, my times are very different now, so I don't really know. There's not really, day, night. It's but I do have we do have T-ball practice at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So first one of the year. Let's go. Hey,
Did you
they
schedule
won.
that? Did you schedule that?
Well, I would never schedule anything at 9 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't schedule my funeral at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Good luck with that tomorrow. That'll be like herding cats. But anyway,
hey, I'll be on the high of a Reds win, baby. Nothing could bring you down after the Reds win to end the 8-game losing streak.
That's right. No free ads, but there's a coffee company that I do want to apologize. I'm going to get it right before I bring it up. I'm going to give them a free ad because I messed this up. They sent me some coffee in the mail, and they had sent me a message and said, you'll probably get this before the Reds win. And boy, I got it on Tuesday. It's Friday. So I was going to crack that open tonight because it felt appropriate, and I couldn't find out where it was at. So sorry for that. But I'll get it right. I'll make sure that I do him justice. But that'll be the only free ad we give out. But anyway, all right, Nick, it's going to be a super late night edition. We got a lot to get to. So let's get right into it. Box score recap for those that probably didn't get a chance to watch. There's going to be a significant amount of people that wake up tomorrow morning that are looking for a little substance, and you're about to provide it to them. So give them a little box score recap, Nick.
Can I be very needy?
Oh, yeah, I can do whatever you need me to do.
Can we run through? We got a lot of super chats.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know what you're doing, and you're a smart man.
Let's reset up.
Correct, because you want to make sure that when we get into it, we're going to stick to a script because we're not editing this tonight. I'm all for that. My only problem is this. I'm being serious. I think we missed some super chats last time. I feel terrible about it because when I click on inside the back end, now this is like inside baseball for those that are listening. When I click in here, when I click on fan funding, Nick, you know how it usually gives you the tab where you can see all the supers? I think it's missing people. I'm being dead serious. I don't think it has all the supers in there. So I'm like, I'm a little worried about it, if we're being honest.
I got 4. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I got 4, but I think there was more. But whatever. I'll go dig back through them. And then if I miss yours, listen to me. If I miss yours, one, it's because YouTube stinks and they won't show them all to me. But if I miss yours, we'll get them right in the middle of the show when we do some of the ad reads or something like that. All right, let's get to them. Ned Flanders, he says we're winning like the Brewers. $10. He's right. We are winning like the Brewers. Speaking of which, the Reds have a better ERA than the Brewers, believe it or not. So there is that. Just the Reds' offense is not great, and the Brewers actually isn't bad. Harrow. Now, here's where we're getting confused. There is a Harrow in the chat. Now there's a Harrow, I think. It says, feels like a weight is off the chest. Yes. And more than that. More than that. Feels like we've just come into I don't know. It's late at night. The analogies aren't working. Big see you later. Says, never miss the long intro more. Yeah, exactly. You guys were complaining about that long intro. Now you're praying for it. Daniel Myers, big time. I love him. He's been in this chat for a long, long time. He said, let's go. We needed this win. Bad. Ellie won me money tonight. Good. Ellie was great tonight too, man. You know, Ellie made a play, and I guess we can get into the show a little bit here in a second, but I was going to say Ellie made a play tonight that was so smooth that everybody just took it for granted. It's like a ground ball in the hole. He made it look so easy. But it's just a little, I just want to say something nice early. And before we get the show started, Nick, one last thing that I wanted to do, because I think that I forgot to do it last night, is because we lost the game and all that. But I don't know if you remember, but there was a double play. And I'm not going to end this rally yet because I don't want anybody to think that I'm anti-analytics and I'm stopping the count. But I do want to give a shout out. Jonathan India made a great play, threw it to Ellie De La Cruz, and Ellie De La Cruz rifled one over there 100 miles an hour and barely got whoever the hell was running down the line. And you know what? Hold on. Whoa, which way do I got to go? I go this way? Okay. Look at this. Analytics won. Now, we didn't win the game, of course, but they did win that. There's that. 6-5.
We do have one more, and I don't see it anywhere, so I apologize.
Where is it?
We got it. Well, Craig said Mark put in a super chat, season back on. So shout out to
I
you.
did see that. That's why I knew this was jacked up.
It just popped up. It wasn't there before.
Where?
It's now on that
It
fan
is.
funding. Was it not there before?
It was not there before. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. All right, it's late at night. We got to talk Reds baseball. I'm not going to get on a rant about YouTube. Yeah. Here in a minute, they'll be running ads. Just a bunch of. It is what it is. Nate, I got that one. 99 cents. I got 99 problems. Any message, he just retracted his message. He didn't even want to say nothing. All right, Nate, thank you for the super chat. All right, Nick, let's get into the box score recap. What do you say?
Let's do it. All right, Reds taking on the San Francisco Giants. Top of the first, Elly De La Cruz ripped 105-mile-an-hour single to left field. Elly then stole second base, and with 2 outs, Spencer Steer smoked a double 395 feet off the wall. 1-0 Reds. In the bottom of the first, Andrew Abbott gave up a home run to the second batter he faced, Tyro Estrada. 1-1 Giants. Giants will get another run off Abbott in the second inning to take a 2-1 lead. But in the top of the third, Elly De La Cruz, another single, hit over 100 miles per hour. He stole second base, number 25 on the season. Mike Ford then walked, and a bloop single from Spencer Steer tied the game up at 2. Top of the fourth, Will Benson singled. TJ Friedl doubled him home. 3-2 Reds. Andrew Abbott would get through 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And the Reds would turn it over to the bullpen. Emilio Pagan, he threw a scoreless 6th inning, took advantage of the big ballpark in San Francisco. In the bottom of the 8th, Reds got some big insurance. Stuart Fairchild pinch hitting for Jake Fraley against a lefty, hit an inside the park home run. 4-2 Reds. Justin Wilson got 4 outs. Lucas Sims on his birthday got 2 outs. And then Alexis Diaz, he hadn't pitched since May 5th. He did bring the tying run to the plate, but he got the job done. Reds win 4-2. Reds end the 8-game losing streak. Reds now 17-21 on the season.
That they are. And boy, oh boy, do we have a deep drive of the day today. And it was a special one because it didn't even go outside the ballpark. But you know what? It was a deep drive. It was a deep drive. As many times as we joke on this show about the deep drive of the day sponsored by DSC, this one isn't a joke. Stuart Fairchild hits an inside the park home run. That would give him 2 home runs on the year. And it was a fly ball to center field. It just over the outstretched arms of the center fielder, banged off the bottom of the wall, kicked away from both the, I think it was the left fielder and center fielder. And Stuart Fairchild, shout out to him, and turned on the Jets around second base, slid into home plate, and was safe. 103 miles an hour off the bat, distance of 388 feet. And that gave the Cincinnati Reds a 13.5% increase in win probability, jumping it all the way up to 85%. And as of course, you know now, it turned into 100%. And the Deep Drive of the Day is sponsored by DSC. They are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com. Thank you to John. Thank you to John. Thank you to John and DSC. Thank the Lord above that we get to do a real deep drive of the day, and we get to actually celebrate the fact that it was a win. It's been a while. It has been a while. Chat, love you. Nick, love you. Let's get into some Reds baseball. Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about overall. I mean, ironic that Reds end the losing streak against Logan Webb, one of the best pitchers in the sport. Reds had 15 hard hit balls against Logan Webb, which is insane. Also, not to take away too much from Logan Webb, but you also kind of like, man, if you pitch in this ballpark, it feels like anyone could put up a mid-3 ERA. It does it almost feel, Trace, I feel like every time I see the Reds play in a ballpark like this, it feels like the Reds team is built for this type of ballpark.
It does. It does genuinely feel that way. I don't know if it's just because of the speed. Sometimes I thought about that last year when you'd watch this team play. The team speed certainly helps, and it showcases more often than not when you have a bigger ballpark. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know if the Reds pitchers are, again, the Reds pitchers have been great for the most part all year, so I can't really suggest that it's just because of the big ballpark as to why they're doing well. But maybe they're just more confident, and I do think that there's some semblance of truth there. And it always seems like, I guess the guy that I always point towards when you have a big ballpark is Hunter Green. I don't know if I have no idea if the splits would back me up, but it just seems like every time I watch Hunter Green throw the ball in a big ballpark, he shoves. But shout out to Andrew Abbott, and I before we get into him, obviously we'll get into him in the back half of the show. But I just want to say this has been building though, Nick. Like it has been building. We've been frustrated because it hasn't led into any wins of maybe over the last 3 or 4 days. But the Reds looked incredibly abysmal, what I would call, 10 days ago, somewhere in that ballpark. And then it got really, really bad. And then about 3 or 4 days ago, call it, I don't know, May 9th, May 8th, they did look like they were having better approaches to the plate. And they started to hit some balls hard. And they ran into some dumb bad luck the other day. And I know that everyone hates to hear that. But they did. In the bottom of the second inning the other day, they should have, without question, scored more than one run based off of the circumstances, events that went down. And they didn't. And they only scored 4 today. So it's not like they do. I will say this, Nick. They do need to find a way to score more, given the at-bats that they've had. And I think tonight they had some really good at-bats. And you play in a big ballpark, though, sometimes, to be fair to the Reds, though, they got some fortunate breaks as well. So Lucas Sims is one of them. But having said that, give the offense credit. I mean, they bounced back and they found a way to kind of to try to right the ship, per se.
Yeah, the last 2 games against the Diamondbacks were they felt completely different than the series against the Orioles, where it was just a brutal offensive series. I hope I never see a offensive series like that again. But the last 2 games against the Diamondbacks felt better. It's nice to finally see them get the results, because I'm tired of hearing myself say, well, they had some pretty good at-bats. It rings really hollow when you're losing, 6, 7, 8 games in a row. And I get that. So it was just nice to see them rewarded with the win, because I thought from the get-go, it felt like there was some more aggressive. I know Chris and John were on the broadcast. Will Benson had a first pitch single. Felt like that was an intentional approach. Like either, someone told Will, hey, why don't you go out, take a big swing on the first pitch against Logan Webb. He's a guy that you don't want to get behind in the count on. You don't want to get deep into an account, because he can put you away with his nasty changeup. So felt like there was some real intentional. Felt like whoever's pulling those strings behind the scenes did a good job tonight with a good game plan against an elite pitcher who's even better in his home ballpark.
Yeah, Webb's a great arm. I mean, the fact that the Reds got to Webb a little bit was encouraging. To your point about Benson, I mean, there is something to be said about a guy that's striking out 50% of the time. When you get yourself in a position where you're having that many swings and misses, you got to give yourself more opportunities than maybe just 1 or 2 swings when you're up there. And I think that sometimes Will Benson, to be fair to him, though, he's last year for sure. This year's been different, but last year you could make the argument that he was the most disciplined, one of the most more patient hitters that this team had. So maybe that got to him a little bit. He started taking too many, and maybe he got some advice from David Bell. And that's been a kind of a topic of conversation, I guess, of late with David Bell, because when your team starts to lose this many games in a row, I don't care who you are, the manager's going to start to catch some of the heat for that. And there's been a question of, whether or not David Bell's been on guys, or whether or not he's been maybe trying to coach guys behind the scenes, because certainly during the media and to the media, he keeps a very, very, close fest. I don't think any of us believe what he says sometimes, but he never really comes out and says maybe how he truly feels. Maybe he had a team conversation and just said, listen, guys, like we got to go up there with an approach and be aggressive and not be passive. And maybe Benson took that to heart. Who knows?
Yeah. It's again, David Bell, like people, if you're someone who's going to get upset at David Bell, you just stop watching his press conferences. You're just going to get mad. It's going to upset you. This is who David Bell is. What he says in the press conferences, is in no way a representation of how he manages his team. I don't know how he manages his team. You don't know how he manages his team. He's very behind the scenes. That's what he does. And you can hate all that, but you don't know anything more. And the press conferences are just fluff. It's just fluff. He's intentionally trying in the press conferences not to give any bulletin board material, not to say something that his players are going to get upset about. That's his intention. So just stop watching the press conferences. You're going to get mad.
Right. Yeah, he's 100% a player's coach. Now, there's going to be people that are going to argue that they don't like that. That's a different conversation for another day, obviously. But, all right, let's jump into Stuart Fairchild. We obviously mentioned him for the DSC Deep Drive of the Day. And this is what Stuart's role is supposed to be, right? I think this is where we talked about before. Maybe these guys were asked to do more than what they're capable of doing, and it started to affect what they were actually good at. And I, again, whether or not that's fair or unfair, I don't know. You know, we're trying to make excuses, if we're being honest, for some maybe quadruple-A type players and or guys that, you know, really shouldn't be considered everyday big league players. And we've never said that Stuart Fairchild was an everyday player. And I think that tonight was a perfect shining example of exactly what you would want out of Stuart Fairchild if we had what we would call a complete team. And unfortunately, as of late, we've not been one, so he's been stuck into some tough situations. But shout out to him. I'm good. Listen, it's weird that we've pigeonholed ourselves or we've found ourselves. I don't know how we got here, Nick, but it just seems like we've come to the point of trying to defend Stuart Fairchild more times than not. And he's made some blunders. Listen, he didn't know how many outs there were. Whatever, at the beginning of the season when he was playing center field. The other day, he didn't take a peek to look to see whether or not their ball was hitting to center field. It's like, it just seems like every mistake he makes, everyone holds on to, but then they're going to forget about this in 5 days. Like, they're going to forget that he came in lefty on lefty in a tight game, hits one off the wall, turns on the Jets, he's got speed, he hits an inside the park home run. I don't know. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is the role that Stuart Fairchild's supposed to be in. Pinch hitting against a left-handed pitcher, coming in late playing defense, showing off his speed, being that fourth outfielder. That's what he is. He's not your everyday starting center fielder. If you have to go a long period of time, he's gonna be exposed a little bit.
Right.
But this is what he is. And Trace, I didn't know this yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. So after I was reading a little bit, do you know what happened on that Stuart Fairchild play the other day? Where he got doubled
deked.
up? He got deked by Kevin Newman.
I know that he got deked, but I didn't read. I don't know. I know that he got deked. I watched the play.
The Diamondbacks broadcast kind of showed it a lot more, and Newman after the game said it was intentional.
Yeah, you're gonna give. Am I supposed to sit here and give Kevin Newman credit because he did something that you do all the time when you play baseball? Is you tag the guy when they steal second to act like he's at, and then I think the second baseman even tagged him too. I'm not giving Kevin Newman credit. If you think that I'm going to give Kevin Newman credit on my 19th hour of working today, you done lost your mind. Kevin Newman can piss off. He's a terrible player. Tucker Barnhart too. Just because those guys are in the big league still, and they're not good. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'll make a claim, I'll make a guarantee. I'll sell Chatterbox. If Kevin Newman's the starting shortstop for a World Series team. How about that?
Oh no! Oh no! I think I feel about Tucker how you feel about Kevin. To be honest.
Yeah, he's not good either.
I got a little vitriol.
How's that guy still in the major leagues? Not that we need to get on this subject, but seriously.
I don't know. I saw him at the race in Phoenix.
Yeah. I thought he was retired when you told me that.
I did too. I thought he was done. It was like a Sunday afternoon in the middle of spring training.
Yeah. All right. Ellie De La Cruz stole third base with one out. It was one out. To be fair. It was one out. So,
it's allowed.
Well, that makes a lot more sense, in my opinion. It makes a lot more sense. 1 out, 0 outs, and 2 outs are just completely different situations in a baseball game. one out makes incredible more sense. But that's the thing with Ellie, though. Like, that's what I was trying to say this morning when we didn't have internet. We're trying to do off the bench. Is like, it's just hard to. It's really hard to put any kind of. I don't really know what the word is, but it's really hard to put any kind of guidelines or boundaries around Ellie De La Cruz because I don't think he's going to listen to him anyways, and I think that his gut is just nobody can throw me out. And when they do throw him out, he thinks in his mind that it was luck, and he might be right. Like, he might be right. It's just how can we find a way to where we really do understand time and score a little bit better. But you know what? I'm just going to say it out loud now. Ellie De La Cruz, I'm closer to you, Nick, than I would be somebody else that's frustrated with him. Like, he's so damn good, and he's such a blessing for this team that it's like if he makes a mistake, I guess it's just like part of it. I mean, I don't know. We can get mad about it, Nick, but he's just so damn good. He's the best player on this team by far. And I don't know how you feel in regards to the base stealing, but it mattered tonight. I get it. He doesn't just get phantom, like, what's the word to use? Like token steals or pad the stat steals. He gets some of those sometimes, but very rarely. Most of the time they know he's stealing, he takes the bag, and it's important.
I did think that when he got into a rundown when the Reds were down 3-1 against the Diamondbacks, that was the first one that I was actually upset about. Everything else I've just been like, yeah, Ellie's Ellie. That was the first one that I was like, that spot, you can't do that. But Ellie, this is just an insane stat. Sarah Langs does incredible research for MLB. Ellie's the first player with 25 stolen bases in his team's first 38 games since Kenny Lofton in 1996. I mean, that just kind of puts into perspective just what he's doing. I mean, and then before that, it was Vince Coleman in 1991. Before that, Ricky Henderson in 1988. I mean, these are some of the best base stealers of all time.
Right.
So what he's doing, it's just like our friend Reds Daily had the tweet. Like, he has almost twice as many steals as the entire Giants team has. Like, he's just making a mockery of stealing bases in the current game of baseball. Like, no one does anything like this. And he's an incredible weapon, man. If we had a whole lineup that could be around him, that could put the ball in play, imagine how much all these stolen bases would really matter.
No,
that's what, man, when you get Matt McClain and Noelvi Marte and you get a lineup around what he can do, that's when, man, you can really jump on teams early and often with it.
You need Ellie De La Cruz and maybe three other All-Stars. And I know people are like, oh my God, 3 other All-Stars? 3 other All-Stars or borderline All-Stars, and you have a World Series lineup. Like, because he himself produces so much and he provides so many opportunities for other guys that I'm getting closer and closer to saying just sign a blank check. The only concern I have is clearly, how long is he going to be this athletic? How long is he going to be this fast? Will his body change significantly between age 22 to 29? Those are the things that we don't know. That is a risk. But right now, this Ellie De La Cruz that we get to watch is a blessing. And I mean, I'm just being honest. He's the best player that I've seen play in a Reds uniform outside of Joey Votto, obviously. But Joey Votto is just a different player. So I don't really like comparing those two. But I know people would go crazy if I said that he's the best player that I've seen play in a Reds uniform, because Joey Votto does exist. I'm well aware of that. But completely different players. So anything else to add before we get into the next section?
What I will say about, him aging, like Trey Turner's 30 years old. So, I mean, Ellie's still got quite a ways before he gets into that. Just randomly, I put up the stolen base leaders. Do you know Spencer Steer's 7th in Major League Baseball, or 6th in Major League Baseball with 10 stolen bases?
He does a pretty good job of like time. Not tonight he didn't, but he does a pretty good job of time and jumps. I don't know how, like, Spencer Steer's not like super fast, but he's got some IQ to him. Yeah. Jonathan India stole a bag tonight, and that was a pretty good bag. This this Reds team's unique, man. They it's not like it's weird because they don't really have any like super burners outside of maybe Ellie and Fairchild-ish, and obviously R.I.P. to Bubba Thompson. But the rest of these guys aren't scared to steal bags. So that's Fraley's not as scared to steal a bag. Benson obviously isn't. There's really not that many guys on this team when they get on base, they're automatically not going anywhere, which is cool. That's fun. They just got to find a way to get on base a little bit more. That'd be ideal.
Yeah. We got some Bubba talk coming up. Little teaser.
Oh, some Bubba talk. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks. You know the drill. The Game Time app. Download the Game Time app. Use the code CINCY, CINCY. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. And, of course, that means if you're going to use that code, it's because you're looking for tickets. And what tickets? It doesn't matter. They got them all on the Game Time app. You can go to MLB, NHL. I understand NHL isn't really around Cincinnati. Maybe some NBA. Pacers. Shout out to the Pacers. Shout out to the Guardians. They're fighting tooth and nail in the NBA playoffs. Or maybe it's just the Redlegs. Whatever you may want to do, you can do it on the Game Time app. Use code CINCY, CINCY, for $20 off your first purchase. And again, asterisks, terms do apply. I was going to say, what was I going to say? It was 988. It's always on the screen as a reminder. Don't want to blow past that. But again, I think if you're in a situation 988, we all know the drill there. I was thinking to myself, Andrew Abbott today. I don't want to say he didn't look great, but you look at the score, like you look what he was able to produce, and you're like, this was a damn good outing. Was that the ballpark? Like, why did I feel like that? Did I not watch the game good enough? Because I mean, to be fair, I was bouncing back and forth, trying to drive and pay attention to my phone, which is something that many people will tell you that you shouldn't do, but I did it anyways. How was your overall impression of Andrew Abbott? Without looking at the box score or all that, if you just watched the game and you didn't really look at it, what was your initial impression?
I would say he grinded through it. I think that David Bell made a great decision pulling him when he did. That was really in the Giants have a heavy platoon lineup, and that was they're like right-handed bats that you want to get a right-handed pitcher against. So I thought he made a good decision. Abbott was only, I think, at 88 pitches when he pulled him. But yeah, I mean, Abbott's having an incredible season. Really kind of has flown under the radar. I was dead wrong. I thought he was one of the guys that was going to regress the most, and he almost looks as good as he looked early last year when he kind of came up and just kind of took the team by storm and was the ace of the Reds rotation when they desperately needed literally anyone to start. But he's been great. I don't think his stuff was like, I don't think it was great tonight, but it's nice to see him battling through it, just like Hunter Green yesterday. Didn't have his best stuff, but he battled through it. It's nice to see some of those kind of starts, because it's kind of felt like it's been with a lot of these younger pitchers, it's been feast or famine. If they don't have their good stuff, it's been a bad night. And it felt like there's been several starts of late where it's been, guys getting through that. And I guess that's, just getting maturity and, getting some major league starts and, getting some experience under your belt.
I agree. I mean, and listen, Andrew Abbott, he is a pitcher, right? Like the traditional sense of the word. Like, he's not. I don't want to say he doesn't have good stuff, because I think that would be It's just unfair to say that someone doesn't have good stuff when they're in the major leagues. Clearly, their stuff is more than serviceable if you're able to get major league hitters out. But it just seems like he's a guy that's going to rely on location, change of speeds, and kind of utilizing the over-aggression of some hitters to his advantage. And, I just didn't think he threw the ball that well. And I looked down at the score line, and I'm like, well, doesn't matter what I think. Maybe it was because the Reds couldn't score any runs, and they scored one in the top of the first, and then he gave up a bomb in the bottom of the first. So it was just an initial, like, puke, Maybe that was the real problem, is that it just, it was, how they say first impressions matter. Maybe it was a bad first impression tonight, and then after that, it kind of settled in, and we got back on track. So shout out to Andrew Abbott. And, of course, the bullpen as well. So Justin Wilson, a guy who really struggled last time out. boy, I'll tell you what. Thank the Lord heavens above. You can talk about a guy that needed to have a pretty good outing. That was him. Because if he'd have came out here and blew this lead, the Sam Mull folks that were absolutely ready to burn X.com down, they would have literally burned the city down. But he didn't. Came in, threw the ball well.
Yeah, I thought he had the best stuff I thought of anyone in this game. Yeah, Wilson pitched very well. Pagan and Sims, I think they definitely took advantage of the ballpark that they're pitching in. But both guys didn't walk anyone, and if you don't walk anyone, that you can get by with a lot of stuff in a ballpark like this. So good to see those guys both, and Justin Wilson as well. He didn't walk anyone either. Good to see them attack hitters. That's what you have to do, especially in a ballpark like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of attacking hitters, more like attacking catchers, this batter interference thing, I know you had posted about it maybe like last week or something, and it just seems like the Reds never, ever catch a break with this thing. Every single time there's even the somewhat semi-semblance of a guy getting touched behind the plate, they call it. And then when guys are falling over their face and Tyler Stevenson or Luke Maley's trying to throw somebody out, it's all fair game and everything's good. I know that Welsh was talking about the swing back of the bat, right? Like he didn't catch him on the follow through. It was kind of like the recoil effect after that might have clipped the catcher. My question is like, don't you think it's a little unfair though that a player can't just swing his bat like in somewhat of a traditional way, and that's if somehow the catcher decides to move up the line or throw it and fall forward, that it's the hitter's problem? I again, maybe I'm wrong in thinking that, but it just feels like that rule needs to have a little bit of an adjustment to it personally, because the other thing I would like to see, Nick, before I kind of let you take the reins with this is I would really like it to be a judgment call personally. Like there needs to be some semblance of saying like, hey, this really might have affected the catcher, or this was just like did TJ Friedl barely nick his jersey? Like, I don't even know if he touched him. He might have barely nicked his button on his jersey. Next thing you know, we're making guys go back to bases. I hate that. So that's just food for thought. Whether or not that'll change ever, I doubt it. But your thoughts on the batter interference?
Yeah, that was exactly my thoughts. Is this needs to be a judgment call, and I don't really love the idea of giving umpires any more gray area.
Right.
But this is like you have to have like some common sense with this. There has to be some spirit of the rule. The rule is meant to so the batter can't block the catcher from throwing the guy out. He did nothing to do that.
No.
It's dumb. I don't feel like anyone enjoys those kind of calls. Like, this is an entertainment business. Let's just make the calls common sense. If he does something that impedes the throw, then yeah, it's batter interference or follow through interference or whatever the hell interference it is. And if not, it's not. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, that call is the same kind of semblance in nature of what I hate about the sliding into bases now with replay. Before replay, I didn't have a problem with the idea of like, having to make sure that you're on the base, because you're not getting those split second came off the bag calls where guys called them out. Now, since you can replay, it's like these guys they know in their mind that they can't come off at all, so they're contorting their bodies. Like, and maybe I'm an old man and I'm worried about injuries too much, but seriously, like a guy's oven mitt or whatever you want to call that thing, barely coming off the base, just the slightest little bit, is not the integrity of the rule. It's not the spirit of the rule. Like, they stole the base. If you overslide the base, sure, that's fine. You can be out. But the concept that your fingers barely bounce up while you're sliding in there, I hate it. It's not the nature of the rule. It's just not the way that, in my opinion, baseball should be played. And hopefully at some point we figure out these little nuances with replay and all these things, and we can kind of clean it up. And like you said, as weird as it is to say, I think giving the umpires a little more gray area, or at least a little more semblance of making a judgment call, is probably what's best. But we'll probably complain about that when they finally give them the ability to make their own calls, because then we'll argue that it's inconsistent and we'll be right back to the drawing board. But who knows?
Let's take away calling balls and strikes. Let's give them the power back on this call.
There you
and
go.
Everyone, it all evens out. But I tell you what, if I'm a Reds coach, I'm telling Tyler Stevenson and Luke Maley, hey, anytime someone steals a base, you try to bump into the batter because you're going to get it called half the time. What it's going to take is this is what is going to happen. This is going to happen in the playoffs, in a big game, in a huge spot, and everyone's going to get really mad about it. Then they'll finally change the rule. But until then, when it's just 101-62, they don't care. It's, well, whatever. We'll make it once everyone really gets mad about it.
Yep, just like most things, 100%. Heaven forbid you fix something before it's a real problem. All right, Nick, some big news here. You teased it earlier. And I know you won't be able to get to it right off the bat because, unfortunately, maybe you will, but I doubt it because, usually you go down from the ranks from top to bottom, and I don't think Bubba's at the top, but that's here nor there. Reds MILB. They've been waiting around for, 45, 50 minutes ever since you teased it. They've been on their pins, needles. They've got their popcorn ready. Let them know, Nick. Reds MILB.
Well, at 1:28 in the morning, I'm sure you want to hear about 6 minor league games, but that's what we had. Ooh. All right, we'll start off with Triple-A Louisville. They beat Indianapolis 3-0. Bats improved to 19-18 on the season. Christian Roa, he was used as a reliever tonight. Found that a little interesting. Pitched really well, though. 3 innings, just 1 hit. Struck out 2. Roa's a guy I really like. He could throw the ball up high 90s. I think he was hitting 97 tonight. Struggles with command. He's also had a bunch of injuries, but he's an interesting pitcher. I don't know if the Reds are going to look at him as a Nick Martinez 2.0. That's kind of what it felt like they used him tonight, but nonetheless, really good to see some results from him. Alex Young, another scoreless inning. He's gone 3 1/3 scoreless, 6 strikeouts with the bat. So if you're a Reds reliever, you better pitch well because there's like 7 guys down at Triple-A that could take your spot. One of them's Tony Santillan, perfect inning, 2 strikeouts. I keep bringing the stat up because I think it's just incredible. Santillan has allowed an earned run in 2 out of 26 appearances between spring training and Triple-A this season. Just incredible. Nick Martini, 2 for 4, hit a home run. Martini's homered in each of his first 2 games since being optioned to Louisville. Martini had exit velocities of 104, 103, and 97 on his 3 balls put in play. Shout out Nick Martini. Blake Dunn was 1 for 3. Peyton Burdick, tough day, 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts. And now to the main event, the Chattanooga Lookouts. Yes, they were swept in a doubleheader. They lost game 1, 3-2 to Tennessee. They lost game 2, 5-1. Yes, they're only 10-21 on the season. But Bubba Thompson, he made his debut, and he had 2 hits. 2 for 6 in the 2 games combined. Shout out to Bubba Thompson. Actually went 0 for 4 in game 1, turned it around and had 2 hits in game 2. Tyler Callahan, he's looking a little better. 2 for 6, had a double. Austin Hendrick not looking better. 0 for 6, 3 strikeouts in the 2 games. Matt Nelson had a good day. 2 for 2, hit his second home run, also walked. Hunter Parks, an okay start. Pitcher, really talented, can really throw the ball hard. He gave up 3 runs over 4 1/3. Down to high A, the Dayton Dragons, they split a doubleheader. They lost game 1, 8-0. Actually only had 2 hits in that one, but rebounded in game 2, won 7-2. Dragons now 12-18 on the season. Jacob Hurtubise is with the Dragons on a rehab. They had him starting with the ACL. That's the Arizona Complex Reds. Now they moved him to Dayton. Very interesting. I'm not sure. Not sure I've ever seen a player that went down like 2 levels for a rehab assignment. A little different, but anyways, he was 0 for 3. Rough night for Cam Collier, 0 for 7, 2 strikeouts. Good day there for Sal Stewart. On base all 3 times, 2 for 2 with a double. Hector Rodriguez, 2 for 7 in the 2 games with a double as well. All right, and then the Daytona Tortugas, the gold standard of Reds minor leagues, they won 15-4 over Lakeland. Tortugas now 18-13 on the season. Alfredo Duna was 0 for 4 with a walk. Ricardo Cabrera 1 for 5 with a double. but Ariel Almonte, 2 for 5, homer, 3 RBIs. Ariel Almonte now has 10 home runs. That is the most in the Florida State League. The next most is 5. So he's got twice as many home runs as anyone in that league. That's your Reds MILB.
Presented by somebody at some point.
We got one more spot, folks. We got one more spot.
One more spot.
You want to sponsor it?
It's yours for the taking. All right. I don't think I have anything to add. I mean, Austin Hendrick, I'm sorry that I laughed out loud right there. I didn't mean to do that. I kind of ruined your segment. I just busted out laughing when I seen that he's 0 for 6. I don't know. I'm not. I wish him the best, but it just seems like, I mean, it just goes to show you that if you get drafted high, you get that, man, boy, they want to see you fail as much as one humanly possibly can before they let you go. But heaven forbid Jacob Hurtubise. I'll tell you what, Jacob Hurtubise would have had a bus ticket back to his parents' house faster than you know what if he was doing the same thing as Austin Hendrick was doing. I can tell you that right now. But he did it.
Do you find that interesting that the Arizona Complex League is pretty standard for a rehab assignment?
It seems like he's a big leaguer, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're calling him up.
I don't think they are, but I'd
love to know what the story is behind that. We'll never know. But
if he tore it up, I actually would think they would consider it. Like if he was like, Arizona Complex League, got 3 or 4 hits every other day, and then he goes to Dayton, and he's just getting on base at a 750 clip. It wouldn't surprise me if they just were like, you know what, we kind of were hoping this guy was available before. Now we want him back up here, and who knows? It is a shame though. They always talk about there's like unfortunate things that happen in people's lives. I know this: if Hurtubise never does make it to a big league roster and never gets a big league at bat, it'd be a damn shame, because if he just could have stayed healthy this spring, he would have 100% got himself an opportunity for the Reds. Maybe he still will. We'll find out. We will find out. All right, Redlegs, they get to play again. Who, what, when, where, and why, Nick?
All right, we got a little better game time, 7:15, national TV on Fox tomorrow. Reds will be going up against Mason Black. He's only made one big league start. Actually made his MLB debut on May 6th against the Phillies. Gave up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, but he is the Giants' number 7 ranked prospect. He had a 1.01 ERA in 6 starts at Triple-A this season. Black relies on 5 pitches, a sweeper, sinker, 4-seamer, slider, and changeup. Really a more finesse pitcher, fastball only, averages about 92. But I seem to remember a guy named Kyle Harrison, who the Reds will see on Sunday, who made his debut at Oracle Park against the Reds and absolutely dominated. So I'm not taking Mason Black, not taking you lightly. I'm only going to say nice things about you and your family. For the Reds, Nick Lodolo, 3-1, 2.79 ERA. Last start, maybe his worst. It wasn't even that bad, though. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, struck out 6 against the Orioles. Gave up 3 earned runs in the first inning, then retired 11 of the next 12. Lodolo has never faced the Giants. No active Giants have faced him. Knock on wood. I feel like that's a good sign, Trace, that no one's saw him with his stuff. A couple other quick stats on Lodolo I just found very interesting. Lodolo has retired the leadoff hitter in each of his last 10 innings. That's a pretty remarkable stat. Opponents also hitting just 0.71. They're 2 for 28 against Lodolo when he gets 2 strikes. So he is really dominating when he's able to get ahead in the count.
Nick Lodolo is a best pitcher the Reds have. Incredible pitcher. If he's got even his B stuff, he's going to be a tall task for the Giants in that ballpark. I mean, listen, I love, obviously you never know, but I love the situation the Reds are going to find themselves in tomorrow. The fact they're playing national televised game, I also will be very, very pleased with that, because I like the cameras. I think the cameras look better on national televised games. So, looking forward to it. 7:15, also like that start. I like that start as well. Nick, It's been a long, long time, buddy. It's been a long, long
Had
time.
to find it. Had to find it.
I'm a little worried
It's hiding
about
behind
basketballs. I don't know where those are. We'll find out in a minute. But go ahead. Go ahead, Nick. Do your thing.
See if we're. Oh yeah, we're not. We're not mid-season form, folks. Oh man, I screwed it up. There we go.
Oh, you
There
got
we
it.
go. There
nice.
we go.
That was nice.
All right, we rallied. Woohoo! We're back, baby.
That was a smooth
We're back.
landing. That was a smooth landing.
No damage. No
Yeah, that sounded great. All right, a couple super chats here before we go, folks. Nate said, Betty de la Cruz, the curse is over. I don't think there was ever a curse. It seemed like that, but I don't think there was. We're not going to put that on Betty. We're going to put that on Bell. Bell's problem over Betty's problem. Jim Lafferty says, I love the show, guys. My favorite post-game show to watch, win or lose. Thank you, Jim. Thank you to everybody that's in this chat, man. Thank you, in all sincerity, you guys, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. I don't know how else to say it. Sometimes you have long days, and today's been a really, really long one. The fact that there's 2 hundo up in this chat at 4:00 in the morning, Eastern Standard, of course, is ridiculous. So, you guys have continued to show your loyalty to us, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming in here and having fun. That's what this is about. Try to enjoy baseball. That's the goal, I think, is to enjoy it. Does it frustrate us from time to time? Yes. Can we get mad at each other from time to time because some people agree or disagree on the way you can go and handle things? Yeah, that's fine. But again, just remember, it is just baseball. And on top of that, I would also add, we're all rooting for the same team here. We're all rooting for the same team. At some point, we're all going to be just like one big happy family because they're going to win. The only time this rift happens in the chat is when the Reds can't find a way to win. And I saved this last super chat because it's probably going to make me smile. Because Big Z drops a big super chat in there like he always does. He said, "Nut," is what he said. "Nut drag out west across the country again and broke the streak. How about that?" Love you guys. They did. Been dragging them all over the place lately. By dragging them, I mean not dragging them at all. Thank the Lord, though. Figured it out. All right, folks. Here's the thing. It's been a really long time. I almost thought that this camera angle didn't exist, if we're being honest. This actually still exists. Last time I seen this was, I don't even remember when. Now, I got a problem here. I don't know exactly where the ball is. I'm not 100% sure. I will say that I'm going to have to go find it. And when I go find it, I'm going to have to try to make sure I don't wake everybody up because it is 2 a.m. You got to be somewhat conscious of these things. Couple in the fact that I was throwing a little temper tantrum like a little baby earlier, just throwing stuff around because I couldn't find a remote. I need to be careful here. But I'm going to do my best. So, it's time to get back on track, folks. All the way back. Athlete, see you tomorrow.